It is 12:50 in the morning, the day after Christmas, and I didn't think I'd need to put this out, but I have no choice at this point. This is a emergency update as we are currently experiencing a potential big windstorm happening right now with gusts probably the strongest we have seen in years in many places. This is, I think, the first time in the 5 years I've been doing these weather forecasts on YouTube that I've actually put out a true emergency update that wasn't an update to a previous forecast. I'm meteorologist Hannes Leach, and I'm just gonna be doing this as quick as possible. I don't have a 7 day attached to this one. Watches and warnings. There is a wind advisory that has been issued about an hour ago for the Willamette Valley that expires at 6 a.m. I think the wind threat will probably continue till about 8, but it'll probably start to improve after about 4 or 5 a.m. So most of you, by the time you're watching this will be over and you don't have as much to worry about. This is mainly for those who are waking up right about at 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Sound like the last 6 hours and ignore my previous draft here. So, you can see from the satellite imagery that the system has become considerably better organized during the last 6 hours, starting to really wrap around into that comma shaped traditional windstorm look. And the big change, hold on, let me map Oregon's border here for context. And this is going to be a rough boundary, so this is not to scale. I think that's about all we need. So, previously models were showing that this windstorm would take the traditional curve up, and the Puget Sound might get hit by about gusts 50 to 55 at the highest, but it wouldn't be a significant windstorm by any means. Now, what it's actually doing is it hasn't been turning to the north as expected. It's been pretty much going in east northeast, and as a result, if it keeps on this path, it'll be making a landfall somewhere around Grays Harbor and taking a southern Puget Sound path. Now, there's still a chance it could curve up further to the north and take a central Puget Sound path. If it takes the more southern path, that puts the Willamette Valley into a more significant danger zone for a significant windstorm. Also has been intensifying as well, more than models have predicted. The model consensus was about this storm would be about at 985 millibars. I'm estimating that this is down to about 982 right now. This is based off of the satellite imagery here and the buoy reports, which the closest I have seen was a 984 from about 30 miles away. This could be making landfall in the upper 970s, which is a pretty strong windstorm considering our standard atmospheric pressure is 1013 millibars, and most of our systems are in the 990s or 1000s. Taking a look at our power outage map, in the Willamette Valley, primarily Marion and Lynn County are currently affected as of 12:35 in the morning, and along the coast here, Clatsop, Tillamook, and Lincoln County are affected. Now, the color scale is down here, so right now it doesn't look like more than about 20% of county customers are out at this time. I do expect that to go up, especially for Clatsop County, where I do have damage reports that tree branches are down and blocking highways, and wind gusts are approaching hurricane force in some areas unofficially. Speaking of those reports, Astoria is where I'm getting that report from. The official station at the airport, the gusts are going to 61 miles per hour. There's an unofficial to 75, however, that I have seen. The Akina Bay Bridge has a sustained wind report to 58 miles per hour with gusts to 76 miles per hour. Eugene, gusts to 45 miles per hour. It is normally shielded from higher gusts due to mountains to the south. So that prevents it from getting the highest potential wind gusts. So a lot of times in these quote unquote significant windstorms, Eugene ends up getting gusts in the 40s, but Portland and Salem can get gusts in the 60s. Because this storm path is a little bit further south than the so-called traditional storm path, which makes landfall around Nia Bay, which is the northwestern tip of Washington, but also making a traditional northeast jaunts, that can also affect things with that. Hillsborough, gusts to 48 miles per hour. Salem, gusts to 46. Also, the official stations have not been doing their typical reports every 5 minutes. They've only been reporting hourly, so my confidence in all of these is lower a bit. I'm also getting a report that there is a thunderstorm currently in Eugene as well from this system. So my nowcast for this, peak wind gusts in the Willamette Valley 50 to 65 miles per hour. If you're at the coast, 75 to 85 miles per hour in exposed areas with 65 to 75 miles per hour. If you are slightly inland, like in Astoria, also the 75 to 85 miles per hour gust also applies to elevated areas as well. I do expect this to be over by 8 a.m., like I said earlier, and because the ground is saturated, I do expect power outages at least more widespread than typical for these wind gusts, especially if you're in the coast range and westward. Because there's more rain in the coast and coast range, that causes the ground to get saturated a lot quicker. And the Willamette Valley has seen a significant amount of rain within the last week, though not unprecedented amount, which increases the risk of power outages as well. And because of how widespread the gusts are, the worst case scenario would be a region-wide windstorm with gusts everyone hits 60. I think it's more likely widespread will be probably 50 to 55 range. That's still enough to cause some power outages and damages though. So that is going to be it for this video. I hope you all did not see any damages from this if you woke up late, but if you are waking up in time to experience this, please stay safe out there and take care.